By the way, Peter Parker, I gotta say, the woman you went after in Homecoming and the woman you trying to go after in Far From Home, I see you, bruh. I like what you do. Good taste. Hi, I'm Andre, and I'm a black nerd with a review for You Better Reviews. Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm gonna give you the good, I'm gonna give you the bad, I'm gonna give you the nerdy. And I'm gonna try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but it is going to be difficult to do so. It might get a little like spoiler sprinkles. You should probably see Avengers Endgame before seeing this movie, and no, this is not a desperate attempt to get Avengers Endgame to pass Avatar as the top grossing movie in the box office. I'm just saying there's a lot of things in this movie that heavily reference what happened in Endgame, because this movie tells you right away what happened to the kids in Spider-Man during the events of what they call the blip. And leave it to Marvel to figure out a way to take a pretty tragic part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe of Avengers Endgame and make a joke out of it. And a joke that I'm like, this would be tasteless, but these are fictional characters. This is pretty funny. Because it's a Spider-Man movie and we're still in high school with these characters, of course we're gonna get some teen antics, and it's teen antics as the kids go on a vacation. International vacation is part of their school trip. It's basically like a movie version of when a sitcom cast goes and does special episodes in another country, like when The Facts of Life went to Paris and Australia, or when Family Matters went to Paris, or when the Bundys from Married with Children went to London, or the Lizzie McGuire movie when they went to Rome. Hey now. Hey now. So that means some of this stuff is gonna feel fun and interesting and cool, and some of this stuff is gonna feel a little been there, done that. It does get a little teen sitcom-y up in here. But luckily we got a good cast here, so that makes some of those tropey things still feel fun or entertaining at the very least. Of course, Tom Holland does his thing. Of course, supporting cast is great. I want to give special props to Zendaya. How much I like Zendaya in this movie as MJ. She has a little bit more of a role in this movie than she did in Homecoming. They don't change her character at all. She's still that very sarcastic, very dark humor type of character that she was, but they show some other sides of her when she's interacting with Peter. You can still be strong and confident and independent, but yet have those insecurities or other feelings, and she pulls it off very well. But then you have characters like Flash Thompson, who is just doing the typical shtick of being the guy that makes fun of Peter Parker, and he does a good job every single time he does it. So it works out. But once Nick Fury and Maria Hill show up, and definitely once Mysterio shows up, that's when we're gonna get some of the typical superhero action that I really enjoyed. Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, always a delight. Maria Hill, I really liked seeing more of her in this movie. But man, Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is straight up MVP. He is so good in this movie. And he's not even doing anything that's really eccentric or out there. He just plays this character very well. So this is where it's gonna get a little like, what can I say? What can I not say? Let me just say, all elements of him as Mysterio work very well, in my opinion. He has to do different types of he's really good. I'm trying, man. I'm probably gonna have to make a separate video just talking about the second half of this movie, because let me tell you something. When I watched that last trailer that they did for Spider-Man Far From Home, I made a video about it, and I kind of complained. I was like, look, I'm still excited for this movie, but I feel like the trailer showed too much. I still kind of feel like that they did, but there are definitely some chunks in this movie that they did not show, and those chunks are some good freaking chunks for me. Like, they were some of the best parts of the movie, and I am so glad that someone ran into the Sony trailer making room and was like, look, you can show a lot, but you can't show this. And when they didn't show that, and I got to see it for the first time on the big screen, I was like, dude, this is something that is completely new for a Spider-Man movie. And considering how many Spider-Man movies and Spider-Mens we have had, that is pretty impressive to bring something new to the table. It brings some cool special effects, it brings a little bit of fear, a little bit of horror into it, and it also brings more evolution to Peter Parker's character, because a lot of this movie is saying like, hey, after what happened with Tony Stark and what's happened on Earth, you are an Avenger, you're a superhero, you got powers. We need you to stop being all like, oh, I need help. We know you a kid and all, but you need to step up. Really good stuff that happens in the second part of this movie that just really brings it up a notch. This started out as a very average superhero film that just with those elements alone was like, okay, now it's on a new level. I like this. And those elements are so good that it makes me wonder what this movie would have been like if it didn't have to follow Endgame. It's very clear that they had to reference Endgame. They had to talk about Endgame. They had to talk about Peter Parker's feelings and emotions after Endgame. But it's just one of those things where I wonder if you didn't have to deal with that and you could have just focused on the meat of this movie, would we have seen more of that? Could that have been expanded more to something that's even more interesting? Or was it doing as much as it could while also having to play in the formula of being part of the cinematic universe? But for what we got, I liked it. The action sequences are typical action sequences, entertaining, but stuff you've probably seen before. Lots of CGI going around, especially with the elementals, the like monster creatures that are made out of water or fire. It's basically like what would happen if the Planeteers got pissed off. But again, even though we are like, how many Spider-Man movies deep are we in at this point? They still find some new creative ways of Spider-Man to do his web sling and stuff. And there's been a certain thing that people have been wanting to see more and more of Spider-Man doing, a very specific trait that Spider-Man has, and this movie makes a really good point of showing that off, which again leads to a very awesome, like, oh, that's cool sequence. Oh, and Marisa Tomei is still hot as Aunt May. Let's just call it like I see. I want to be respectful and everything, but damn. I know a lot of young people go see these Spider-Man movies. When Aunt May comes on screen, some of you little ones are gonna be like, huh, oh well, mommy, I feel weird. I think I'm a man now. Oh, this movie has a Power Rangers reference. And I might be taking this too far, but they don't say the television show Power Rangers. They just say the Power Rangers. So there's no way this is going to cross over. But, Disney's like, nah, man, we had them one time. We done with them. It's a Marvel movie, so you know what's up. Stay after the credits. And this time, stay after all the credits. Like, I know in the last few films, we've had some, like, one credit is really important. The other credit is a jokey joke. Nah, this time they're like, mid-credits mean something, after credits mean something. And boy, both of them got, like, some what? And it also has one of the best, most awesome, spectacular, amazing references / cameos. I'm like, oh my God. I'm not even gonna, just stay. Spider-Man Far From Home was a very good movie, a very entertaining movie. Definitely not a perfect movie. Some of the stuff that the kids go through, they all borderline between seen it before, but still entertaining, all the way down to teen sitcom. I definitely feel the sequelness in this, but then when all the elements of Mysterio came in, that led to some not only interesting superhero stuff, but also some very creative elements that were really cool to see in a Spider-Man movie. Those elements that happened in this movie that I was not expecting, that weren't in the trailer, was like enough to notch it back up. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give this a tender heart, but not like a regular tender heart, like a baby tender heart. Like, remember when the Care Bears were Care Bear cubs? So like tender heart baby. So it's like still a tender heart, but maybe not as tender hearty as some of the other movies that I have tender hearted in the past. I just love making this so complicated. Are you going to go see Spider-Man Far From Home? And if you did see it, what did you think of it? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up, because liking the video, I think, helps. I don't know. And also subscribe and ring bells and whatnot if you want to keep watching more things from me that maybe YouTube will suggest. I don't know. I don't know how this site works. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000.